Hey guys, Uncle Ray. Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. On this channel, we cut through the hype and the noise, and I give you the non-biased information you can use to make informed decisions. My goal is to get you in that 10% club because we all know that 90% of everyone that invests in crypto lose money, and I want to change that. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about basically where we are now, where I think we're about to go, and when is altcoin season. So hopefully you guys have already created a strategy and a plan to get you through the rest of this bull run. Now, if you need some help, I do one-on-one coaching, and we'll talk about that at the end. Now, hit the like button. Let's dive into some alpha about altcoin season and what's probably next. Now, as you know, if you watch this channel, I go by probabilities. I play the downside and I only invest bull run to bull run. That strategy works for me. And if you think about it, guys, cryptos are not stocks. And if you're trading crypto like they are, you're probably going to get wrecked. Because if you go study, say, 10 random uh, commodity charts and compare them to 10 random historical crypto charts, they look a lot similar compared to, say, stocks. Stocks tend to only look like altcoin season. You know, stocks are nowhere close to as volatile. They are based on earnings. Most of these cryptos make no earnings and they tend to go up and down more like coffee, copper, lumber, oil, things like that. Now, I was extremely disappointed with this weekend, with the momentum we had at the end of last week, especially with the stocks closing higher on Friday. I really thought that in the overseas markets this weekend that we would take Bitcoin to 100K. Now, I knew it might just be a low liquidity pump, but I really was disappointed. That being said, the weekend's not over. There's a lot can happen between now and tomorrow morning when the stocks open up on Monday. All right. Now, they just did the token 2049 Dubai conference. It was an amazing success. I watched a lot of videos on that, and I'm going to talk about a little bit of what they were saying. Guys, the world is extremely bullish on Bitcoin. The whole world, from the governments to the huge hedge funds, pretty much everyone around the world is coming to understand Bitcoin. That being said, very few people across the planet understand even Ethereum, and especially different altcoin seasons, no matter how sexy the story is to us or how much utility we think they have. The world does not understand it. They're not ready to go in, and the masses are not going to start buying altcoins. That doesn't mean we're not going to have a huge altcoin season, but I don't believe it's retail that's really going to pump these projects like we think. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Now, another conference we have is the Bitcoin Vegas conference coming up at the end of the month. So we got a lot of stuff going on. And, you know, that's where the big boys go to educate themselves. Last year when Trump spoke and everything, it was huge. And I think it was an eye opener for the world. Now, one bullish thing I want to mention was in one of the podcasts that I watched, they were talking to some CEOs that own the exchanges. I think it was the CEO of Binance. And they said, do you have the nation states coming to Binance? And he was like, yes, you can't imagine. He said, when Trump announced the Bitcoin reserve, he goes, we get calls every day from countries around the world, and they want to be a part of that. They understand that America is the leader, and if they want to keep pace, they're going to have to get a strategy. I found that extremely foolish. Now, another thing I want to just bring to your attention that I wasn't aware of. There was a lot of debates in the last couple of years of, Ethereum layer twos is going to be the future or just layer ones. And most people thought the layer twos was where it's going to go and what was going to win. But now people are starting to say, it's just too many steps, too much risk, and people don't understand it. It's not as simple as, say, a Solana or a Sui compared to Ethereum. People don't like all that bridging. They don't like to have to educate themselves on how roll-ups work and all that. So now it looks like Ethereum is going to have projects created to go back and use the layer one. So I wouldn't recommend investing in any of the low layer twos. Doesn't mean they can't pump. Again, guys, I'm only investing bull run to bull run. And if we get a DeFi summer, the layer twos could do extremely well. But that was something I found interesting. All right, let's look at I'm going to look at a handful of charts and kind of tell you where I think we're going. And I want to show you the liquidation heat maps. Guys, if you're a trader, it is the best tool I've added to my knowledge in a long, long time. And we'll talk about that at the end. All right, this is Bitcoin dominance. Guys, Bitcoin is the only project with the real adoption like for the masses across the world. The whole world is behind Bitcoin. Whether you like it or not, that is the GOAT, and it's going to remain the GOAT. Ethereum or nothing else is going to take over Bitcoin. Wall Street, the governments, everyone is behind it. And we should be pulling for Bitcoin because right now, where it sits, if no matter what Bitcoin does, the altcoins follow. So if Bitcoin goes down, the altcoins are just going to get wrecked more than Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin goes up, it's going to lead the way. Altcoins are not even close to taking over and becoming altcoin season. Bitcoin has to move first. Yes, there's always exceptions of new projects or pump and dump type projects that can rip, but I'm talking about across the board. Bitcoin dominance is just going to get stronger, guys. And because I want you to think about it, retail thinks different than Wall Street, but we're irrelevant. If all of us got together, every single one of us got together of retail, we wouldn't even equal one order for Michael Saylor. So it doesn't really matter what retail thinks. You need to follow the smart money. And the smart money that has, puts in 5, 10, 15, $50 billion into crypto. They're not putting it into altcoins. They're putting it into Bitcoin. Now there's good news about that. Once they start taking some profits at the end of the bull run, they're going to get more risky and want to have some of that play money out there. So when the big money goes from 50 million and makes $1 billion, and they take 5-10% and throw it into altcoins, that's when we're going to get those huge rips. And I believe that's going to come at the end of the year. Now, this is just straight Bitcoin. Right now, guys, we're starting to consolidate. Again, I was extremely disappointed with this weekend, and I'm guessing that we're going to pull back into this channel and then probably go up from there. Hopefully we fall apart. I love it when things fall apart and I have dry powder, because for me, I believe we're going to have a huge altcoin season and a huge move. And I think everything that this administration is doing is going to work. We've got global liquidity coming. We've got into money supply. They're going to print. They're going to lower rates. Guys, it's just getting better and better. So the lower the prices are between now and when that hits, it's all good, in my opinion. All right, and I'm going to tell you why I think we're going to get in this channel in a minute. That's the liquidation charts I wanted to show you. Now, right here is USDT dominance. Now, I want to bring something to your attention. This blue line is where we were pre-election. So we're about the exact same price. Now, this is when the announcement was made that Trump won. And you remember what happened. We ran and ran and ran for what, 6, 7 straight weeks? Well, we want to see this fall. So, guys, there's easily a huge altcoin season when Bitcoin dominance falls apart. I can't be more bullish. But here's something I want to show you as well. This is others against BTC. So think about it, guys. For the most part, all altcoins, excluding others, is excluding what the Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum. No, it's excluding the top 10. So you look, the average altcoin has been bleeding against Bitcoin, and it just keeps bleeding. Well, last time we had that consolidation, it went down. So we really need this to hold. The odds are everything is going to keep bleeding against Bitcoin. Now, let me show you this. This is the most important thing I think I can show anyone, especially if you're a trader. Now, I don't want to knock on the guys that do TA, but for me, technical analysis is just hindsight. It sounds really sexy. These guys can show you and draw all these lines, and it's a ABC up, and all the stuff that they tell you. But yet, when you ask them, well, what's going to happen Monday or tomorrow? They go, oh, well, it's going to go up, it's going to go down, or it might just sit here and consolidate. That shows it doesn't work. And for me, I use technical analysis very, very short term because then the macro doesn't really matter. But when I do use charts, I want my fundamentals and the charts to match, right? So when we're in a hot bull run and we have the sales, the wind behind our sails, and I see a bullish signal, I'll tend to go with that. But one thing that people don't understand, and this is what I learned on Wall Street sitting at the desk of some of the biggest players on the planet. They're not drawing those charts, not at all. What they're doing is thinking about where those lines are and where the liquidity is. So normally, guys, when you draw a chart of where you want to go short or you want to go long, they know I'm going to run those stops. They're going to wipe you out and take it the opposite way to do so. So anytime normally where you're putting your stop, that's the liquidation. And you need to learn how to use these liquidation maps. Now let me show you what this means. So right now, we're just going up, down, and sideways in a pretty tight range. But if you see this line right here, guys, that right there is about, what is that? 16, 17 million dollars of liquidation if we go down, right? So if we go down from here to like, what is that? 40, 94.9, they can liquidate 16, 17 million, and even more if they drop it, another couple of $100. As opposed to if they take it up right now, there's only $3 or $4 million of liquidity. Well, the market makers and the hedge funds and the big money, the exchanges, especially the exchanges, just want you to trade. They want to stop you out, get you in, get you out, and keep moving that money. So the odds are, this tells you that they're going to take it down before they take it up. That's where the liquidity is. And you can see it better on this chart. We are sitting on all this liquidity. So look how big this move is for the market makers to get up into this liquidity. So the odds are, and it's just probabilities. Like if I was going to trade, I would not be buying yet. I would be waiting to see where this goes, like on the open. And if they sweep this liquidity, perfect entry. And then they're going to go up and sweep that liquidity. And then they would probably be running short stops, and that could send us well over $100,000 for Bitcoin. So my educated guess is, unless something big happens overnight, the odds are Bitcoin's going to trade down tomorrow, but Monday, which it may pump before that and then trade down. Who knows? They're always playing games. And one thing to think about, guys, if you are trading right now, take some profits because charts don't really mean anything at the moment. Trump matters. Trump can come out right now and say something and Bitcoin's at 120K. Trump could put out a tweet at 2 in the morning and we wake up and Bitcoin's back at 85,000. So don't kid yourself thinking that technical analysis really matters. It's hindsight. I'm not saying it doesn't work, and if people really know how to use it short term, you can make money. Like if you're just going to scalp or day trade, it doesn't really matter unless a big announcement comes out and wrecks your position. But the point of that little rant is take profits really fast if you're trading right now. All right, that being said, guys, if you need someone to take a look at your portfolio, I do one-on-one coaching with 3 Zoom calls. I have a coaching course where we go through your portfolio with 1 Zoom call. I have an inner circle we launched. And guys, I also have a short course, which I think everyone should learn to short. That being said, in my coaching, we go through your portfolio. I educate you on tokenomics and market cap, how to compare these projects. But the biggest thing is to get you to get a game plan for your portfolio, how to dollar cost average in, dollar cost average out. And that's, if you need some help with that, I'll leave a link down below. Reach out. But guys, whether you take me up on that or not, do yourself a favor. Get a game plan and take profits along the way or you'll become the profits. Now you can do, any method you want, but guys, go back and study some people and think about your game plan going into it, right? If you're doing really well, keep doing it. But most people are going to wreck themselves because they put a price target. I'm going to sell, and I'm just making this up, but I'm going to sell my H bar when it gets to $1, when it gets to $2. What if it doesn't even make a new all-time high? Or what if it gets to 98 cents? You missed the entire bull run because you were waiting for that price to get to whatever. So I highly recommend take profits along the way. Then you always have dry powder and get your initial investment back as soon as you can. Then you're good. You're 100% guaranteed to get in that 10% club. That's what I want for all of it. But anyway, guys, to make myself clear, I believe altcoin season is going to be delayed till the end of the year, more like the last bull run. We had a big move up in first part of 21, the end of 20 and first part of 21, huge pullback. And then at the last, November, December of the last cycle, the best tokens were on fire. I think that could happen in this bull run. And I actually believe that this cycle could extend all the way out to even the middle of 2026. But my educated guess is the first quarter will be pushing it. Altcoin season will have been there. Maybe some of the top projects like Sui or Ondo, or any project with an ETF may keep pumping it at that time. But I feel confident that in 2026, that most altcoins will be in the process of crashing, just like history proves. Guys, I will never be bullish on an altcoin in that when the cycle's over. Not until history proves us different. Because cryptos are not stocks. They are cyclical, like a lot of commodities, like orange juice. And so if you're going to hodl these altcoins thinking that you're buying the next best tech and the best utility token and it's going to change the world, you're going to be going down, down, down for 3 or 4 years, watching them die. And most of them are not going to come back. And one thing is for sure, guys, and I don't believe this is debatable, if a project has bad tokenomics, and we've went through altcoin season, that project is 99.99 going to get wrecked. That's how tokenomics work. It's like the government cutting on the printing press. So in the, let's say, the middle of 2026, 2027, when no one has an interest in altcoins, we've all either made our money or wrecked ourselves, and retail totally disappears. They're going to keep pumping those tokens into every project with bad tokenomics. That's why Bitcoin has such strength, because of its tokenomics. You can't get dumped on. They can't print more Bitcoin. That's why it is a hard asset, and not one altcoin can really say that. None of them are stores of value. All right, didn't mean to get on that rant, but hopefully that helped you out. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Hit the like button and come back and be part of this community. And guys, I'm bullish. Take care.